Hello there, it's Sarah from Paper Lovely. Thanks for joining me today. I've got some happy mail to share with you. So I am going to be creating a folder, and I signed up for this through SwapBot. It's going to be going to Canada, so I wanted to make sure that it was nice and sturdy. I will still stick it in a bubble envelope to mail, but I'm going to start off by using some cardboard, and this is probably about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's actually the backing cardboard that comes from scrapbook.com. When you order 12 by 12 sheets of paper, they wrap it with that to make sure that they don't get bent. So I always save those, and then they're great to use for projects like this. So I've trimmed those down to 2 panels measuring 5.5 by 7 inches. And now I've got some Maggie Holmes paper. The majority of this is from Flourish. I think the pink is from Gathered or Bloom. I'm not sure which. So I'm trimming these down to match. And the pink paper, I just trimmed to 5.5 because I'm going to fold that up to make some pockets. But this background paper, I've trimmed to exactly 5.5 by 7. Here I'm going to use my Nuvo glue, and I'm going to go right as close to the edge as I can on this, so that my paper doesn't peel away. And I am coating it really well, but also really lightly so that my paper doesn't warp. So I'll place that on top there. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other panel. So here I'll flip my panels over, and I'm going to repeat the same process with that pink paper, just lining that up on one edge. So here I'm folding up that excess to create a pocket, and I'm just measuring about how high I'd like that to go. I decided on 3 inches, so I'm lining up the bottom of my cardboard at the 3-inch mark there and just trimming off the excess. I'm going to fold both of those up, and I'll just crease that really nicely with my fingers. And then I'm going to grab some 1/4 inch Scor-Tape, and I'm going to place that on either end of the pocket, making sure to go as close to the bottom of that cardboard as I can. And then here I'm going to peel off the backing and fold up that bottom flap. So next I'm going to turn this into a folder. So I've got some yellow and white washi tape. I loved this against that pink, so I'm adding that in the middle, and this is just going to make a little bit of a binding for me. And what I'm doing here is I originally had wanted to use the yellow and white on both sides, but it was just slightly too thin. So basically I'm just layering those up, pressing down really well, and then folding that over. And you'll see when I fold it, I'm having a little bit of trouble here. This is not quite a 1/2 inch, and usually I would use a 1/2 inch. But I was trying really hard to make it work because I thought it looked so pretty. And then here I just decided no, it was too thin and it wasn't gonna hold. So I'm grabbing my scissors and I'm just gonna trim off the excess on either end. That way I can trim off the inside piece. And then you'll see in a minute here, I'm gonna actually just take off that back piece. And I grabbed some paper tape from 7 Gypsies, which has some really pretty just sort of, I guess it's like figuring on it. And yeah, here I'm peeling this back. And this paper tape actually has a rougher texture to it. So it actually worked really well. I may use it for back binding on a lot more things. It feels a bit more like a binding with the texture that it has. And it's just slightly over a 1/2 inch, so it gave me a little bit more of leeway when I wanted to fold this over. And sometimes I will get sort of a funny bubble underneath the tape when I'm doing that, so I just use that acrylic block to sort of smooth out any lumps or anything there. And then I'll again go ahead and trim off that excess on the top and bottom. I did then still want to add some of that yellow and white washi on the front panel, so I'm just tearing off a piece of that, and then I will go ahead and add a piece of gold glitter washi as well. So there you have the basics of how I put together that folder. The swap bot exchange that I'm doing is for a mini paper crafting kit, so we had to include at least 10 different papers and 10 different pieces of ephemera. I'm again using the crepe paper Maggie Holmes Flourish collection. So I've sped this up quite a bit for you. I'm trimming off the papers. To fit in the pocket, they ended up having to be, I think, 4.5 inches wide, and then of course I could go up to about 7 inches tall. I kept them somewhat random in sizing and cut out a whole bunch of different papers, as well as a pretty piece of vellum and a pretty piece of acetate that also come in this collection. And then you'll see as I go through, I'm also pulling out some ephemera, and I'll decorate the pockets as well as the front. But at this point, I'm going to turn up the music and you can enjoy the process video, and then I'll be back to finish things up at the end. Okay, so here you'll see I've grabbed some twine and I'm gonna end up tying this closed rather than use a belly band. But before I tie it, I'll do one final quick walkthrough. There you can see the front cover with the pretty washi tape and the ticket, and it's hard to see there, but those stickers spell out the word hello. And then on the inside, here are the papers and the vellum and the acetate that I included. I just decorated that pocket with the pretty butterfly design and a few of the tickets. Those are actually some cut aparts. I sat down and cut apart an entire page of that ticket page to have some extra ephemera. And then I've got a bunch of those that I had cut apart stuck in that bag that I stapled to the back panel there. And that gave me a chance to add that extra washi to sort of match the front. Here are the pieces of ephemera that I'm going to stick in the other pocket, and then of course I decorated that with the roses and that sticker sentiment. The person I'm sending this to said she really likes flowers and animals, especially deer, so I thought that was sort of a perfect collection for her. And then I'll go ahead and I'm going to wrap the twine around, I think probably 4 times. Yeah, that's what I did. I just doubled the twine and then doubled it again and then tied that into a bow. And that will complete the project for today. Additional photos as well as a full list of supplies can be found at my blog post, linked in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave me a comment or a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.